but I try to explain this point again. We'll go back. What is DNS? So it's a name to IP address part. You open a website, or maybe you are trying to communicate to a mail server. Maybe you want to communicate a VPN server. Okay. Or you want to ping to a remote system with the names. But we cannot communicate with a name. We need a IP address of that particular host. So first of all, we are getting an IP address, then we can communicate with the. How we are getting an IP address? Because of DNS server. Because of DNS, we are getting an IP address. Okay. See, in our home, so we are connecting internet with our Wi-Fi router or a router, Wi-Fi router kind of stuff. Generally, it act like your local DNS server. Okay. You send a request to your local DNS server. So I want an IP address of docs.google.com, for example, and the local DNS server returns an IP address of docs.google.com. But in our DNS, in our local Wi-Fi router or any local DNS server, we cannot store all the data, right? Not only all the data, few data also it cannot able to store. If you have to configure that is, and how this local DNS server knows the IP address of others. So there is a full architecture is there. What this DNS server will do it forwards the query to forwarder. This is a forwarder. Forward the query to forwarder. Okay. Forwards the query to forward. It is asking a forwarder. It is sending like I want an IP address of docs.google.com. Okay. Then what forward will do? Forward also don't have any google.com related IP addresses and all. Forward also don't have any information. Has information but not about your docs.google.com. What forwarder is having? The forwarder having a root hints. Root hints. What is root hints? You have a 13 root DNS servers are there. You have in the world, you have a 13 root DNS servers, which is maintained by ICANN, of course, IANA. IANA actually is mainly taking care of your is mainly taking care of your IP addresses, like which region, which country, what kind of IP address ranges they can use it. Okay. IANA is about a DNS, means registration of DNS and their IP addresses it will take. Okay. So what is this root DNS servers? 13 root DNS servers, and the root DNS servers IP addresses it is having like a first root DNS, for example, A. That A is a server like a IP address. Okay. There is a 13 root DNS server. Each root DNS server name is like a first one is A, second one is B, C, D, E, F, like that. Totally 13 root DNS servers. Okay. So what is the root DNS server content? I will tell, but first one is like each root DNS server's IP address in the root hints. Okay. That is called a root hint. What is a root hint? So root DNS servers IP address. Okay, root DNS servers. So here I will try to contact what is my nearest root DNS server. So forwarder is try to contact nearest root DNS server. What happened? Caps and small will contact a root DNS server, which is near either A or B or C. What is this root DNS server content? You know, we are opening .com. Okay, some are .org, .in, Amazon.in, Amazon.in. Okay, like that it is there now. Same thing. For example, you want to register a domain name. So I put a domain name registration. I want to register a domain name. Want to register a domain name. So I can go to third party like a GoDaddy or google.com. So domains dot. So like you can register with Google also or a Big Rocks, GoDaddy, Big Rocks, Network Solution, registry.gov.in, host. Yeah, you can trust GoDaddy or Big Rocks kind of stuff, but you have to make sure this is a genuine site or not. This is registry.gov.in. Sometimes same name, duplicate names also there. So be careful with that names. Hostinger, namecheap.com. Okay. So you can register your domain names from any of these things, different prices because there are intermediate between the registration. For example, I'm telling, so I want to create something with a Latif Tech. Main name is Latif Tech. Either it is .com, .org or anything. You can see. See this? You want to buy with .com extension, okay? With .net, .org, .app, .info, all endings. You can see .in, .co, .in, .xyz, .me, .online, .space, .site, .live, .net, .page, .news, .blog, .org, pro, code, school, biz, design, coffee, best, wiki, okay, digital, info, tech, foundation. See it is lot of extensions are here. No, what is these kind of stuff? This is not endings. Originally say it is. Okay. Originally say these are all top level domains. .it, .io, .dev, .bots, .autos. Even some dots we don't see also. So this is something hosting. Here also .in, .com, .online, .live, .store, .info. This is some Namecheap. So it is giving lot of advertisements. I'm not. Have you seen this dot part? These are called a top level domain. This top level domain. You can type in a Google like what are the top level domains? The top level domains are there now .com. .com is a server. .com is a server and .com IP address available in a root DNS server. .net is a server. .net server IP address, the root DNS server. .org. These are the starting of our internet. That time .com means commercial, .net means network, .org means organization. Like this is only few dot root DNS servers are there. Okay, .com server, .net, .org type of registration. Now we are getting a lot of things. Okay, .in, okay, .in, .org, .in, .co, .in. Just for our understanding, so .com server IP address, .net server IP address, .org server IP address stores in your all top level domain. Their IP addresses stores in the root DNS servers. There's 13 is there in the world. And what it is asking? It is asking, I want a IP address of .com server IP address. What it is getting an IP address of .com IP address. Got an IP address of .com server. Okay, so next one, because it's a docs.google.com. So first we are finding .com server IP. This is enough. So now we know the .com server. So we'll reach the .com server. Reach server, and I'm asking, where is google.com? I want a google.com IP address. Yeah, space is not enough. That's why I put a g.com. But what is this .com server contains? About here, google.com server DNS server IP address, facebook.com name server IP address. Because it internally there is a lot of structure is there. Okay. So google.com, facebook.com, example youtube.com. Water is very small size it is. Okay. Any other .coms are there? So many are there. Microsoft.com. So these are all .com domains IP addresses. But their DNS servers are their server IP addresses are stored under .com. Now I got an IP address, right? Now I got an IP address of google.com. I got an IP address of google.com IP. Now I will reach google.com. I will go to google.com server. Okay. So I know the google.com IP address. Now I ask a question to it. I want what I want DOCS dot google.com. I want a DOCS google.com IP address. I want a docs.google.com. And what is google.com contains already I given. So what is a DNS server will do? DNS server maps name to IP address. Host name under the domain, host name and IP address. Okay, www, DOCS, meet, mail, like this. Okay, it contains like a meet server IP address, mail server IP address, www server IP address. DOCS already have written. anything like a domains dot sites. That is another server is there. Okay. So we find an IP address finally. Find a IP address of divorces.google.com. So our forwarder now know the IP address of divorces.google.com. Now what it will do, our forwarder told to our local DNS server, yes, local DNS server. So this is the IP address of divorces.google.com. Then our local DNS server will give us, okay, this is the IP address of google.com DNS. Okay, so divorces.google.com. You may get a doubt, sir. You said we don't have a local DNS server means it is your Wi-Fi router. Then where is this forwarder? Okay, where is this forwarder? I'll write a border here, guys. This part is your local. This is your ISP part. Forwarders and all maintained by ISP, Internet Service Provider. Okay, this part will be maintained by ISP, and this is your local. This is your public. Yes, your ISP. From ISP only we are getting. It is very. Now we got IP address of divorces.google.com. What we'll do, we'll send a request for divorces.google.com. So I want this particular information. Okay. Okay. Guys, understand this whole part?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. So in this one also so many things are there, but a lot of things we can able to talk about DNS, but I didn't talk about all these things. For example, so you see this one, this is server one dot sales dot south dot contoso.com. So then .com dot you can see root DNS server. The root domain give us a .com address. 1 second. 1 second. Server one dot sales dot south dot contoso.com. So it is, so .com is a top level domain. So root top level domain, first find out .com, then contoso.com is a second level domain. Under that one subdomains are there. So contoso.com is second level domain. Like you have a google.com second level domain. But you have a sub parts are there, like that is called a subdomain. South is a subdomain. Sales is again under that one subdomain. And host name is server one. Your FQDN one is the host name, like your server name is server one, which is under sales subdomain, under which is under south subdomain, and contoso.com already explained what is this kind of stuff also. This is a picture like what is the forwarder. Same picture I explained here, but this is forward. This is how I've written, just how I explained to you. This is how I written with docs.microsoft.com. I have taken. This is mail1.contoso.com example. Yes, in a DNS, lot of things are there. Okay, just I will tell what things are there. Just I'm not explaining that one because that is that much not required for you, as you know. But I will tell. In DNS, you have a different zones. Exactly, say lookup zones. Okay. One is forward lookup zone. Short name is FLZ. Okay. Short name is FLZ. What is this? This is actually name to IP address part. IP address. Next one is reverse lookup zone. RLZ. It is IP address to F2DN, fully qualified domain name. Why it is in this one? It is structure is always like a google.com. I will take another example, contoso.com. Under contoso.com, I have a record. For example, I have a PC1. Under contoso.com, I have a PC1, and PC1 is a host, a record, the certain IP address 1.1.1. Just for example, why I took a 1.1.1. I have a domain is contoso.com. Under contoso.com, I have a P1, suppose record, and the IP address. Just for an example, for understanding, or maybe taken like this. The reverse lookup zone, same record. It's like a 1.1.10. PTR means pointer record is to PC1 dot Contoso FQD. So this is a forward lookup zone, how it is look like. Reverse lookup zone, how it is look like. I didn't write lookup zone name, and this is the zone name. Domain name is zone name, and this is the record. I didn't write in a reverse lookup zone how it is look like. Example. Write in I will write zone name because it's class A. Only one part, first part. Hyphen. One dot. Hyphen. I will check it's it is there. I have a lot of memory, but so many days not using it. correct only. This first your network portion, only network portion, then this in -addr.arpa. This is the your record name. Okay. Here the name, and here it is the record. So it is a IP address and it is the full name. This one you have a name, and under that one you have a host, and there is a record. So this is how forward comes on and reverse loop. And DNS records also there. Okay. Just I'm putting in names only, guys. Okay. If you study, maybe already you studied, or maybe in future you go through the Windows servers you want to learn. This is very helpful. SOA, start of authority. NS, name servers. Host. A, IPv4 host. IPv4 address means host name to IPv4 address. Host 4 years. V6 address. At least to know something like name servers means other DNS servers and your DNS server. CNAME. Alias. Means like for example, original host name is different and access name is different. For example, accessing www.contoso.com. Alias name for host 1.contoso.com. So by accessing, like you are accessing www.youtube.com, the original name can be different, the duplicate name. Next one is MX record. MS records are mail server. PTR, pointer record, which is used in a reverse lookup zone. One more, this here, that is a SRV record. Service location exactly it tells who is your authentication server, means your domain controller. What I said, start. Authority. Cards are changed, created. Change. in records actually. These are the DNS records. Okay, there is another zones are there: primary zone, secondary zone, stub zone. These words also there. DNS zones in a forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. In both the zones, you have a separate zones are there. Primary zone, okay, primary zone domain having a both read and write facility, means you can modify the records. Secondary zone, read only, you cannot change anything. And read and write here, so only read and read only. Okay, records dates from memory zone, so you can't update manually. Stub zone, stores NS and glue host. Okay, glue host records. Don't forget about what is a glue host handle. Active directory. Integrate, it's not a zone. Active directory integrated, it's just a check mark. Okay, you can store DNS records in active directory database. Okay, you want to store DNS records in active directory database, then you have to select that option. DNS lookup is a command. Actually, DNS lookup is enough. Or dig. Oh, this DNS server. Okay, and let's look up. Use a dig command. So, for example, I am using NS lookup, but I am not a server. But for my PC, for myself, okay, nothing is there. So there is a DNS server is configured, but not given complete information. It's not original one, but still, my adapter I created. NS lookup, google.com. I'm not getting any request. The original, we didn't get any information on. Okay, so who is your DNS? That's you can no need to give any info. Okay, so whether you got the point or not, guys, these terminologies are useful. Maybe in a future, once you are working, that time you may. Guys, okay with your DNS? What is a DNS? Domain name system, port number is 53. Port number is 53. What DNS server will do it? It maps name to IP addresses. So In generally, what is the use of this DNS server? You are trying to communicate to a PC or a device or a host or a domain with a name, but we don't know the IP address of the name. For example, I want to communicate facebook.com, but I don't know the facebook.com IP address. So the request, the PC send, our device send a request to DNS server, and DNS server returns an IP address of facebook.com. So then I can reach the facebook.com with a IP address. All communications by IP address only. So in communication, they don't understand the names for communication. Okay, so your mobile contact is the best example. Okay, so to whenever like a example, another example to about a DNS is ping to google.com or facebook.com. Then you will get first IP address, then we'll send a packets through. You know the IP address of some remote system, then just ping it, you'll get an IP address. You can note down the IP address. And of course, DNS is not that much simple. It is a big hierarchical structure. So each part of DNS is each part of our domain name. So we have to query. That's it. Okay, guys. Speaking.